If you haven't been following along, look at the other videos on my unique way of organizing my seed packets. So real quick, I cut these cardstock into a size that fits nicely into this refrigerator tray. I searched average last and first fall dates in my zip code. And I put a 0 here because this is going to be my spring dates. And I put a 0 over here because that's going to be my fall planting dates. So if you've noticed on the seed packets, it usually tells you plant such and such, 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date. So although it's a couple days late, February 17th was -8. So I took an address label and cut it in half, and -8, -8. So I know I can start seeding parsley indoors this week. After I'm done doing it today, if I want to grow more parsley, maybe my -6, 2 weeks from now, I'll plant more. After that, I'll be able to put it all the way down to -4 in this card system and be ready to plant outdoors. And this parsley, I'm actually going to soak for 12 to 24 hours, and it needs to be germinated in the dark. So I will be treating this a little differently than these other seeds. And for this dill, it does not like to be transplanted, and the seed packet says that if you want to try it, go ahead and use a biodegradable pot. Also, special note that it just needs to be surface sown because it needs light to germinate. Oh, and I can replant every 3 weeks, and I could do this 9 per square foot if I'm going to harvest early. And the reason I have this on here is I do square foot gardening. If you do another form of gardening, then you'll just look on the back of the packet and it'll tell you how far apart to place your plants. And it says a group of 3 seeds every 4 inches. So I don't have to root through a box. I don't have to root through baseball card holders. I just come here and whatever's behind this card, I pull and I'm heading upstairs to plant. A few days ago, I went ahead and pre-moistened the soil, and I've already got these on a heat mat. Yesterday, I showed you that I make a marker for each of these and just put it inside the seed packet. And again, I've already written that these can be planted 1/4 inch deep. So I just poke my finger into the planting holes 1/4 inch deep, and I'm ready to plant. I put 2 to 3 seeds in each planting hole, and I put a little bit of soil on top of it and just gently press it in so that the seed comes in contact with the soil. I love the seed mats because I am able to control the temperature. We did have a power outage the other day and I forgot about it, so I had to reset that for 85 degrees. Sorry, the cat is trying to help me plant. After I'm done planting, I'll put a dome on top of it. You could use some saran wrap or something like that. And what that will do is it will let the condensation come up from the soil, and you're not going to have to water as often. But you need to check daily, and once you see things starting to pop up, you're going to need to move it into sunnier locations. When you're first doing seeds, unless they need light to germinate, they don't need sunlight or artificial light. And when they do pop up, I'm ready with supplemental lighting. I'm actually going to put a 3rd row in here. I needed them for something else last year. Then what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to raise this shelf up because the top of the plants need to actually be within about 1 inch of the supplemental lighting initially. Eventually, any of the low light plants, mostly the herbs, lettuces, broccolis, cabbages, things like that, that don't need a lot of light, I'll eventually be able to transplant them, or not transplant them, transfer them here. And all I have to do is take the cells out and just put the ones in here that don't need a lot of light and roll it over here where it's going to get afternoon sun. And the plants that need more light will stay here under the supplemental light. And if I want, I can go ahead, anything that can be planted again. If I want a succession crop or a continuous harvest, I'll just move this back into the tray for week 6. And what I can do with the rest of the cards, or the cards that have already passed the date, and the seeds that go with them, I'll put them back here in the very back of the tray. And guess what? I'm ready for next year. At the end of the growing season, I'll put some silica packets on top. I'll put this into something like a bread bag or a newspaper bag if you still have the newspaper delivered, or some other bag, and put them into the refrigerator for storage over the winter. And shout out to Epic Gardening on their brand new line of seeds that were made specifically for beginning gardeners. They did send me some packets so that I could try them out and show you guys.